Hi everyone, so we're looking at the Leonardo da Vinci art history workbook today, and I just wanted to take you through the project that you're going to do. And so you're going to read about Da Vinci, look at some inventions that a man made models of his inventions, which is really cool. Do some coloring sheets. And then you're going to look at a codex, and a codex is like a digital sketchbook of his that he did on the flight of birds. I just want you to look at the way that he drew things, and then also took what's called annotations in the sidelines. And annotations just mean notes, very detailed notes about what he was drawing. Okay, and you're going to answer a couple questions on that. And then there's a project guidelines in this, and it's basically you're going to choose something that you want to sketch, and the requirements are that there are multiple points of view, and when you look at the next sheet, it's going to tell you want to have an overview or a wide shot. So that's the entire, whatever you're doing, object or animal, doesn't matter. And then the side view, a close-up, and a detail. And then you're also going to take annotations. And the truth is if you don't want to use these boxes, that is absolutely fine. Just use a blank sheet of paper and draw your own boxes. And also you can take way more notes than this, because then you're going to come in and we're going to create a 3D model of, it's a pyramid shape similar to his parachute thing that he did. And you're going to draw some of those sketches from this page onto this pyramid, and then we're going to put it together. And then you can add wings to it, or you can add a parachute to the top, just to kind of get the idea of how Da Vinci used to experiment and create models and stuff. Okay, so we're going to come back over here, and I'm going to do some of this for you, so you can see how to do it. So I'm going to use some of my pencils. I'm going to use a 2H because if you look at your drawing pencils, anything that is an H is going to be a harder lead, which means it's going to be a lighter line, but also it does have a harder lead, so you have to be careful and you have to draw lightly, otherwise you will tear into your page. Okay, and then anything that is a B lead is softer lead. The higher the number, the softer the lead. The softer the lead, the darker the line is going to be, and the softer. So that's great for doing shading. So we're going to do sketching. So I'm going to use a 2H. You can also use a 2B, or anything like a 2B, a B, a 2H would be great. So you can choose any subject that you want. I think I'm going to use my binoculars. So the first thing I want to do is draw an overview or wide shot. And the thing about Da Vinci that you have to remember is that when he drew, he sketched, very, very lightly, and he went over his work with like lots of just different lines to correct anything that he doesn't like. And that's what I want you to do when you're doing this. So this isn't about having a perfect drawing as much as informing you about what the object looks like, okay? Whenever you're sketching like this, you should be looking at your object more than you're looking at your paper. And it takes a while to get used to that, but that's what you're trying to practice when you're doing this, okay? Okay, so that's good. So that's my wide shot of my binoculars. And over in the side notes, I'm going to make some annotations just describing the binoculars, just like small binoculars, yellow and black, made with plastic and rubber. Anything that you can think of that would help describe the object to you, that's what you want to put in your annotations. Okay, so I've done my first one, and then I'm going to do, so then I'm going to choose a side view, all right? And it can be really any side view that you want. And you guys, the more you draw, the better you're gonna get at drawing, just like anything. So you want to, I would try drawing something in your sketchbook every day, okay? Even if it's only for 15 minutes, that's fine. It'll be enough to help you move forward with your art. Try to make some notations about what you're seeing. On this one, it's that it's soft. There's soft rubber. This is soft rubber around this, and then there's glass lenses. And this part is yellow. Just whatever notes that you want to make to yourself, do that, because that's one of the things Da Vinci did. Now, you know, granted, Da Vinci was doing his own inventions, so it's a little different. Try to find a good place to do a detail of one area. And I'm going to try to find something on, this is not a very detailed thing, but, and when you draw the detail, draw it bigger. Okay, so let's draw, I'm going to draw this area right here. And then this actually rotates. So I want to do like a little line that lets people know. So that's my close-up. And then, I mean, that's my detail. You can do another close-up of something if you'd like. I'm not going to do that one because I just want to move forward so I can see what's next on the project. So what you're going to do is I will take this sheet out so you can see it and you can look at it, because what you're going to do is you're going to use this worksheet to create your pyramid. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to redraw these objects into the actual pyramid. All right, so you can move this around any way you want. I'm going to do mine like, I'm going to do this side view in this one, I think. So and you guys can pick anything you want. Like you can use your dog or a bird. I wanted to do something, it's kind of boring, but I wanted to do something that I could put on the table that you could see. There's probably something way more interesting that you guys can draw. But, you know, you guys, I'm just trying to give you an idea of how to do this, okay? So yours is going to be way, look, all my students always do way better work than I do. I know that for a fact. And they're awesome, my students. So I know you guys are too. And you guys need to do your best to do your best work always, okay? That's super important. Alrighty, so I have my pyramid done and I did it in pencil. I'm going to show it to you. And on the bottom square, I did some flowers that are in my yard that I looked at, because I felt like it needed something a little bit other than just like Da Vinci sometimes drew things, but then he also drew what the purpose of the object that he was drawing was. And so now I'm going to take my ink pen and I'm going to go over my drawing. And this is something that artists do quite a bit. And the reason why is so they do a sketch and then they are able to go back over the top of it to give it more of a finished look. And so let's see, I have, artists do things in stages, right? You feel like, sometimes I think people feel like, you know, artists sit down and they draw it all and it all looks perfect. And that is not the case, okay? They draw sketchy like this and then they go back over with ink. Sometimes they start over again, and then that's okay. So over here, I have micron pens. You guys might not have these, but the lower the number, the smaller the pen. So this is a smaller nib, and then this is a larger nib. You can also use a Sharpie, like a regular Sharpie too, if you want, it's fine. Alrighty, so I'm just going to go over my notes, and I'm gonna go back with an eraser. So don't worry if you're not exactly over your exact lines, especially when you're on your writing. Okay. All right, and then I'm gonna start doing my actual object. And I'm gonna look at this again while I'm doing this because I did really sketchy over here. All right, so the smaller areas, I'm gonna use the smaller pen. Is too, if you do all of these sketchy things like in your in like a watercolor sketch pad, then you can go over it with ink and then you can do watercolor on top, which is awesome in my opinion. I love doing watercolor. Or you could use color pencil. Now, when we're done with this, we're going to cut it out and we're going to make an actual 3D form of a pyramid. The dotted lines we're going to fold along the dotted lines, and we're going to cut along the solid lines. And then these gray flaps are going to be folded inside the pyramid, and that's where you glue down your pyramid. Okay. This is called hatching and cross hatching. So hatching is when you go with straight lines like this. Cross hatching is when you do the straight lines and then you do the opposite direction. And this is just a way that you can shade using ink. So you're going to need to turn in both of these sheets, so maybe I'm going to put mine back into my workbook and put my name on it. And then this is the fun part. So hopefully this is dry enough. I think it is. Go ahead and get rid of my extra pencil lines. Careful not to erase your pyramid too much. So anyway, now I'm going to pull this out of here. And we're going to create a pyramid. It's going to be very exciting. Okay, so you can either use a X-Acto knife and a ruler, or you can just use scissors, and I'm going to use scissors. So I'm just going to cut this out, and I'll fast forward through this for you guys. I'm going to cut out all along the outside edges. Okay, and you guys, you have to be neat and you have to be accurate on this, okay, or it is not going to work. That's one thing about graphic design or being an engineer. You have to be precise, okay, because these are equilateral triangles, and if you don't cut them out correctly, the pyramid is not going to go together correctly. So just be aware. And you don't want to have to redraw this whole thing, do you? I don't want to stress you out or anything, but just take your time and do a good job. And what I do is I just cut off. See, I cut off paper. So anyway, you're going to cut along the lines and you're going to try to be as neat as you can. And like I said, I cut off in basically like almost like triangles. And it makes it easier than trying to wrap around it, okay? All right, so there's my little pyramid. So this is actually the fun part. What you're gonna do, and you also have to be precise about this, you guys, is you're gonna fold. You're gonna fold along the line. And you see where you wanna try to fold right along that dotted line. And if you're doing it correctly, you're gonna line up over here too. You can kind of tell you want the tip of that to line up. And you want the sides to line up. And you want this to be straight. Okay? So I'm going to make that fold. I'm going to go ahead and fold my little tab. And again, you can kind of tell where you want to fold based on getting those points correct. Okay? And then you're going to fold again. This is where your accurate cutting is going to come in handy. The square one is probably the hardest one to get, in my opinion. So I'm going to try to get it as close as you can. So take your time. Make sure you're right on the line, okay? All right. So if you need help with this, then you can ask. Like, there's going to be one student who's really good at it, I'm sure. And then you can ask another student to help you with this part if you need help. Try to do it yourself, but if you need help, then certainly ask. Okay, so this is what it looks like once it's all folded. And then what you're going to do is it's going to become a pyramid shape, right? So you know this piece is going to get glued there, and this piece is going to get glued here. And when it's done, it's going to look like this really cool pyramid form that has all of like little Da Vinci notes and sketches on it. How cool is that? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue it. And if you wanted to, you could use like a brown paper to make it look even more Da Vinci-like. I might even use like a brown color pencil and kind of go over it. So I'm adding glue to the inside tabs, just to those tabs. That's all I'm putting glue on, okay? And then I'm going to put this booger together. So I'm just going to make sure it's lined up properly. Hold it down with my fingers for a couple seconds. And then I'm gonna open this up a little bit. And I'm gonna do the same thing on this edge. All right, so this is your little pyramid. And when you're done, you can add some wings to it if you want. So like you can, you know how Da Vinci's wings kind of were like this, and then he had like, you guys looked at that codex, right? So you can kind of look at some of his wings, or you can create your own wings to do. And whatever you do on one, you want to do the same thing on the other side. And you want to make a little flap again. right? Because then you're going to attach it somewhere on your pyramid. And you're going to do the same thing. So here, I'll show you. You're going to attach it on your pyramid like that, maybe. And then you're going to do the same thing on the other side, okay? And if you want, you can put a little string in here so that you can like drop it and have fun with it. So this is such a cool little project. I really like it. I hope you guys have fun with it.